Thing was eh?
Huh?
The person was to send for you and Nicholas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want you to show that. Show it up. When we now put it in the show, put it up there now. Put up the missing girl too. Missing person. Like now when we start in the show, you do them thing.
Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are, of course, the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. To Felicity Banquet Hall, where unforgettable memories are made. Whether you're planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate meeting, or any special gathering. Why choose us? We are spacious, elegant, and fully air-conditioned hall. Customizable seating for up to 200 guests. Beautiful decor and lighting options. On-site kitchen and catering services. We are available 7 days a week. Located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Call the number on the screen today and book now. To Felicity Banquet Hall, where unforgettable memories are made. Whether you're planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate meeting, or any special gathering. Why choose us? We are spacious, elegant, and fully air-conditioned hall. Customizable seating for up to 200 guests. Beautiful decor and lighting options. On-site kitchen and catering services. We are available 7 days a week. Located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Call the number on the screen today and book now.
Okay, my friends, pleasant, good Saturday afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. And those of you who are locked on to our program, Hardfacts, that is aired Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon. My friends, those of you who are locked on today is Saturday in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Many of you are busy in the marketplaces. Many of you are busy in the different supermarkets. Many of you are busy in your workplaces, your establishments, and so forth. It is 12 noon in Trinidad, and many of you will be taking your lunch break at this point in time. We urge you, those of you who are locked on, while you are having your lunch break, give us a call. Let us know what is taking place in your neck of the woods. The number 372-2129, it is your lifeline. It is a live communication that we have established for you, the hardworking citizens of our country, where you can communicate with John public. We're talking about, in reality, you can talk to people, assist them maybe in your conversation. Maybe you have opinions that you would like to give pertaining to the relevant topics that we are discussing here today on our show. We ask you all to call us. Feel free to call us. Let us know what is going on. Whatever have transpired during the course of the week, whether you had a good taste in your mouth, whether you maybe have some good experience, maybe you have bad experience, and you would like to share those experiences with individuals in our country, especially when it comes to governmental agencies. Example, the TTPS, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We're talking about the regiment, the fire service. You talk about, things like what transpired when you visited your health facilities. All those things you can talk about here on our program, because I tell you something, there are many citizens who are at home. And I'm telling you this, and I want you all to understand clearly what I'm talking about. Many of you are fortunate that you are mobile, that you can move around, that you can go here, you can go there. There are people who are handicapped. There are people who have no feet. There are people who have no arms. There are people who are blind. There are people who are deaf. There are people who are mute. There are many people who, my friends, really and truly, they need, some sort of ground appreciation when it comes to really and truly identifying and helping citizens in our country really and truly understand what is taking place in our country. That is how important this program is. I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim, and I'm here for 1 hour with you, my friends. And really and truly, I would appreciate, those of you who are watching the program. Maybe you can give us messages where we can read if you don't want to call us. But again, the number is toll free. You can call us on WhatsApp, 372-2129. Today we're going to talk about crime, because I tell you something. On our program Hardfacts, we have been really and truly diving into the oceans of crime. And we have been calling on the Minister of Homeland Security. He needs to really and truly agitate some sort of programs whereby citizens can really and truly feel safe. People are not feeling safe. People are not feeling safe in this country. And we have a new government. And the manifesto stated that they are going to do things. They are going to do things really and truly to bring some sort of peace and tranquility in our country. and so much so in the minds and citizens in our country. That was the objective, and they have won the election, but we are seeing, there's an escalation when it comes to things like murder, when it comes to robbery, when it comes to things like marketplace con and scams. All those things are happening, and I would really and truly appreciate that something, really and truly done or established where people can really and truly come back down and feel safe in our country, Trinidad and Tobago. Because I tell you something, too much. We are seeing businessmen, businesswomen. We are seeing people being kidnapped. We are seeing people being robbed. We are seeing people being murdered. This businessman was shot. I think this place is in Freeport. This is an auto car dealer. He was shot. An 18 spent shell was found close to maybe his body. That is the gravity. There's people who are going outside there without any mercy. They're going to finish the job. Whether hook, line, and sinker, they want to make sure and ensure that that individual cannot really and truly bring others or the miscreants to justice. They take the life of innocent people, as I said before, and that is happening on a regular basis. And our program, Hardfacts, we have been calling on Roger Alexander, the Minister of Homeland Security, to come outside there and make statements, make proclamations that will really and truly bring some sort of peace and tranquility. That's the first part of our program. Second part of our program, we have been seeing a lot of missing persons. A lot of people going missing in our country. And you know something? If people are wasting police time, they should be charged. Because I tell you all, a lot of people go outside there, they go on their lime, they go with their families or their friends or whatever have you. And you know something, my friends? You know what they do? They go and spend 3-4 days, even a week, 2 weeks, and the whole country is in uproar. The whole country is really and truly looking out and trying to find. And a lot of manpower and a lot of stress is placed on the society. Because, when a young person goes missing, you know something? People with conscience in our country here, they would really and truly think that, this person's family is at pain, and they would try to console by reaching out and so forth. But again, my friends, something has to be done. Something has to be done. And we are calling from this point, from Hardfacts position, we are calling that the Minister of Homeland Security establish programs that could really and truly bring justice for those persons who are suffering under the atrocities being perpetrated by the miscreants in our society. And lastly, we're going to talk about autism. Very, very important. Autism is very, very important. Because I spoke to one person this week, and after hearing the plight of that individual, and understanding clearly, a lot of people today, we are very happy at home. Huh? We are very happy at home. And when I realized and I really and truly learned about that situation, and that is not an isolated case, that is happening tremendously in and around our country, Trinidad and Tobago, where there are people outside there who have kids who are suffering from autism, right? And I tell you something, they are really and truly in a situation, sometimes people cannot cope with it, right? They cannot cope with it. And I know the government of the day, they are trying their best to see how they can reach out. But I want to just, make a suggestion here in our program. All those members of parliament and all those ministers in government, in your own constituencies, maybe you can do a program when it comes to autism, right? With children who have, some small, mild signs of autism. And maybe things like that we can do as business community, as the business community. We can, make some sort of arrangement whereby, we can do fundraisers, where we can assist with things like Pampers, small medication, over-the-counter, OTC drugs, and so many things that these mothers are really and truly in dire need. And I use the word mothers because many of the time you are going to realize that when a child is autistic, the father has to go to work. And maybe the father will work twice as much, because here it is, you have to take care of the normal families at home, and then again he has to really and truly ensure that the person or the child with autism has to be taken care of. So that's another stress when it comes to the family, is the income. And I'm making a suggestion, and I'm willing to be partnering with anyone who would like to do fundraisers, like things like barbecue, things like cultural events where we can, sell tickets and contribute those monies towards the members of parliament and the ministers in government so that they can be able to do a survey for people who have autism in their constituencies area. Like, for example, let me just say Shogunas West. I'm sure that in the area of Shogunas West, there's approximately 100 to 125. And that is just counting a few and how much I know of, right? About 100 children with autism. And that's plenty stress for the parent. And I use the word parent singular, the mother of that home, because the father most likely will be going to work, as I said before, and this child has to be taken care of by the mothers. In other countries, and maybe anybody outside there who are listening to me, maybe you can call the number 372-2129, and maybe you can identify some of the avenues that this government can assist and render assistance to. I was in that situation with my granddaughter at one point in time, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took that baby away. And I tell you all something, just being in that temperament for a short period of time, it really and truly, it takes a person with strong willpower and lots of patience to take care of children who are autistic. So on this program here today, I would like to identify with whoever is outside there, and maybe we can do things that can assist when it comes to autism, right? So again, as we continue our program, the topic of discussion here would most certainly be crime. Director, pull up those shots. All right, we are seeing that is in the Guardian newspaper. Cop probes leak. Investigations order into release of alleged sexual assault victims information. So it clearly indicates that something adverse took place there and information was leaked. And again, I don't want to really and truly impeach anything, but again, we have to be very, very careful. When we look at this gentleman here, this person here, fisherman shot dead in Calibe. Now, a lot of people would say that nobody is just going to get killed just so. Eh? People would say that. I heard and I read a lot of comments where people are saying, when it comes to like people who are doing fishing, people who are doing business, people who are doing, certain transactions, a lot of people, we allow our mouths and our minds to run free. And we type and we put text, whatever we feel, whatever we understand, and we really and truly don't take into consideration the families of that individual who have been killed, right? Like, for example, again, we have to be very, very mindful on what we are saying. Like I read pertaining to this fisherman here, one of the texts that was in the bottom there, the comments would have been that people don't get killed just so. And I beg to differ. Because I tell you something, there are people outside there who are hardworking. They are hardworking citizens in our country. And when somebody comes to rob them or a home invasion takes place, they try to protect themselves. And you know what? Sometimes they are shot. Sometimes they are killed. And that's the reason why the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bissessa has mentioned this, that empty the matic, empty the clip. And that is something that really and truly you're going to only empty the clip if you have a firearm. And I am seeing something positive taking place when it comes to receiving or getting the permission to apply for a fuel or a firearm user's license. So that is any positive. Director, bring back the other picture there with the guy, the young guy. On Wednesday program, those of you who are locked on Wednesday program, and I am expressing our deepest sympathies and condolences to the family. I know that this guy, he had a wife, and I think he had kids too. And we are very, very sorry and broken up here, because when we highlighted this on Friday, we were telling John public outside there that the miscreants in society, they don't really care about family, they don't care about children, they don't care about who you are. All they're concerned with is the monies, and that's it. And we were saying that we were really and truly disappointed in the sense that people take the guy monies and then they snuff the life of that individual. So we are very, very much saddened here, and we would like to express our deepest sympathies and condolences to the family of that individual. And that would have been one of the marketplace scams that taken place presently. Like, you know, we told you all, Trinidad and Tobago, we told you all that, you know, we can't blame Facebook Marketplace. Most of the time, they do what they're supposed to be doing, right? You advertise, and they maybe hook you up with the person who is selling, and the prerogative is you, that individual. Don't be gullible and allow yourselves to be seduced. And you are going somewhere, there's the police station, as we said before. There is public places that you can go to, right? There's things that you can do to protect yourself. If you are selling a vehicle, right, and you are asking the person, here what, come down to this area, and this area is a bushy area or a forested area, or an area that is lonely or hardly traversed by many people, many individuals. It's not a public place, it's a private alley you want to go to there. You have to become very suspicious. You have to try to understand these things. Become very suspicious that these people want to take you from a public domain to put you in a private domain simply because they know that you would have $25, $50, $100,000 cash so that they can rob you. And we are seeing that. We are seeing that also when it comes to Facebook. Again, Trinidad and Tobago, there are people who are putting themselves outside there to be vended. Beautiful women, right? And they will take you into lonely places. We have seen that happening last week. A lot of things is happening. Sandra Grande woman missing, right? Beautiful young lady missing. This is what is happening, my friends. We have a missing individual here. This guy is Anatoly Nicholas. Mr. Nicholas went missing on the 26th of the second month. We are in the 7th month. That is 5 months now he's missing. And information came to our desk is that the family have traveled from very far abroad, and they are looking for information. They are trying to identify, they are trying to find this individual, right? He is a little bit challenged, right? So those of you who have any information, or have you seen him, maybe you can call that number 372-2129, and we will interact with you, and we'll try to assist the family where possible. So again, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are locked on, it is really and truly imperative that we do the right thing for the right reason and not do the right thing for the wrong reason. Because I tell you something, many of us today, we have to understand that this system that we are living in this present time, it is really a publicity time, a time where people are very public, right? Whatever you are doing, whatever you are saying, it is always on the Facebook pages. And not everything you read on Facebook, not everything that you see on Facebook, not everything you see on TikTok is truth. There are people who will diminish, they will try to destroy your character, they will try to destroy you, they will try to destroy your business, they will try to destroy your families. And that's the reason why, my friends, those of you who are locked on, we have to be very, very mindful, very careful. There are people outside, there's a few bloggers that I know of, and I've seen them, and I've been monitoring them. All they're good for is to put negative comments. And we have been telling you all this on this program. We have been championing the cause for the United National Congress. We have been lamenting when the PNM was doing erroneous actions, when they were doing things that is destroying the fabric of our society, things like property tax, things like exorbitant taxes, things like, you know, persons who, example is persons who have monies in the bank and beyond a certain figure, they will not get their pensions, and so many things that we were highlighting it here. And we said, my friends, we said it to the public, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are locked on, you have an opportunity. I am telling you something, I come on air here today, and I don't really care if 5 people watch the show. I don't care if 5,000 people watch the show. It doesn't elevate me, and it doesn't degrade me. It doesn't make me feel better. It doesn't make me feel stronger. I have a responsibility, and I have a duty, and that is what I am doing here today. If you call me and say, Imam, you know, do good show, and you're doing a good job, and so forth, really and truly, I would appreciate it. Yes, only human of me. But again, if you don't, that doesn't debase me or bring me down. No, I'm not doing it for that reason. What I'm doing it for is to enlighten John public, because a lot of people today, you know, whoever paid the piper, they call the tune or they call the shots. You can't do it with us because we don't charge anybody for anything. This is a free-for-all in the sense that if you have information that you would like to share that will bring some positive changes in the lives of individuals in our country, we are going to highlight it. We are not doing this for no boat cruise. We are not doing it for no monies. We are not doing it for no fame. We are not doing it for no medals. What I am doing it for, my friends, is to enlighten John public that if there is a crime taking place there and we could prevent that from happening again, that is the reason why, when something happen negative, right? When something happen against an individual, what you need to do, my friends, is to learn from the errors. You don't commit mistakes over and over and over and over and expect to get different results. That is not going to happen. That is not going to happen. So my friends, again, we're dealing with crime. And those of you who have anything pertaining to crime, you can call the number 3722-2129. I'm going to take my first break. And when we come back, my friends, I want to talk about that vendor, that doubles vendor in the promenade. All right? When we come back from the first break.
Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are of course the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas.
Welcome back, my friends. Those of you who are locked on to our program, Hardfacts. We are live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon. So those of you who have any information that you would like us to air, you would like to share something that transpired during the course of the week, whether it be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, wherever, you can call me at 372 identify what is taking place. I want to say hats off to the government at this point in time. The United National Government, National Congress government is really and truly doing things that they mentioned in the manifesto. And I want to say hats off to those MPs who are on the ground. Like, for example, I want to say a special hello to Khadija Amin. A special hello to Khadija Amin. Knowing for a fact, I would have seen that only in the bank. What I saw would have been, when you go to the bank, right? And, they would be stamping that, that life certificate, and whether you are alive or not, and you go to the bank, you would remain. If you are a handicapped person, you would be in the car park, and a teller or somebody outside, their clerk would come outside there with the bank and with their form, and they would take your fingerprint, they would stamp, or they make you sign. What I saw there, that is a really and truly first time. That's a first time thing I saw where the Honorable Khadija Amin, Minister in the Ministry of Local Government, came outside and she was dealing with one of her burgesses one of our constituents, right? And that basically, when I saw that, I was really and truly pleased with that action, and I believe a lot of people could take a page from her. I believe a lot of people can take a page from her because, you know, I have been in conjunction with all those ministers, present ministers in government for the past 15 years, right? And I tell you something, they were always saying that, you know, if they are in government, they will do such and such, and they will do as what they are doing. And really and truly, majority of those ministers thus far, I am seeing that they are fulfilling what they have spoken about when they were on the campaign trail. That's the reason why I'm saying hats off to every one of those persons who are acting on the words and what they have stated before when they were in opposition. They were in opposition for how many years? 10 years. And my friends, now they are in government, they are really and truly reenacting what they have stated they would do. So again, hats off to all those ministers in the present regime, present government. So again, as we continue our program here today, those of you who are locked on, now this year is something that I really and truly, I am very much dissatisfied with this, because what normally happens when people make erroneous judgment, whether it be the police, whether it be the administrators, whether it be whoever, we the citizens of our country, we the hard-working citizens, as a matter of fact, because if you're not working anywhere, you're not putting anything in the coffers. You're not putting anything in the government pocket. You're not putting anything in the treasury. So that means to say we are talking about the hard-working business community as well as the hard-working lay citizens in our country. They are the ones who are going to feel the brunt of what actions is going to be taken. Now hear this, the vendor threatened legal actions after removal from the promenade. And I read that story. This is a doubles vendor, right? This is a doubles vendor. Her goods were seized and so many things. I can't understand you going across there to remove that person, right? To remove that person vending, right? You're going to remove that person vending, and maybe that individual will have 500 to 600 doubles, right? And doubles and chana and all the condiments and all those things. And here it is. You would not come there and say, okay, we're giving you 6 hours or 8 hours. Today would be the last day. Or if you have any documentation, because I read the story, and the woman was stating, my friends, that she is paying $2,400. $2,400, that is the figures that were on the daily newspaper, that she is paying to vend at that spot. And I tell you something, there are so many vendors in that area, and if everybody is paying $2,400, that's a welcome thing. Because that same very said money could be paid for the person, the street cleaners, and those persons who are working, whether in the corporation, whether in different aspects, they would be able to at least benefit from the sales of that. But we are seeing the police or whoever, they remove her, and now this individual she has a case, because here it is, she's paying somebody $2,400, and I'm sure she's going to have a receipt in her hands. So all those doubles and condiments and all those things that she lost for the day, that has to be compensated for, plus there are going to be a lot of different charges and a lot of infringement that takes place, and that has to be a cost involved here. Plus now, the lawyers, they're going to investigate, and they will have a hefty fee to pay the lawyers for cost and so forth. So again, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, we are living in a country, right, that people are making VAPS decision. They are making decisions on you know what, on emotions, not really and truly on the issues and the facts. Because too much times we are seeing millions are being paid out. I want to do maybe for the next program, I would ask the director to pull up all those files that we have aired where millions of dollars were paid, 0.5 million, this 3 million, 2 million, how many millions were paid for erroneous arrest by the TTPS, for misconduct in office, and so many things. And you're going to realize that the government of the day, it is not coming out of the Prime Minister's pocket. It is not coming out of the opposition leaders' pockets. It is not coming out of any MP's pockets or any minister's pockets. It is coming out of the citizens of this country, the hard-working citizens of this country their pockets. The very set doubles people who are selling outside there, they have to pay that. Right? So again, my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, we want you all on board. This is your program. We want to develop this program as we were talking about autism. We were talking about autism. And that's something that is very, 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 very challenging for a housewife who has many other kids to send to school, to prepare meals for husband to go to work. Some sort of aid or some sort of assistance should be given according to the degree of autism that the child or the individuals have possessed. Right? This is something that could be done via the constituency executive offices of the ministers and the MPs in government. That's an easy task to do. We have 41 constituencies. And if not everybody is going to lie and come there, not everybody is going to say, well, my child is autistic. That is not something to be proud of. But you cannot feel ashamed. You cannot say, well, you know, my child is autistic and I'm going to put him in a back room and I'm going to leave him there, or I'm not going. That is the reason why the public outside here, John public, has to be aware. Sometimes, you know, you see a child, in the mall because they want to move out. They want to go outside there too. They want to live the life. So you might see them in a hyper mode, running here, running there, pulling this and pulling that. No, right. You might say, here what? You might say this as a parent also. Look, I have children. And I don't allow my children to be running up and down like this and you know, and disturbing and whatever. But you have to understand that that child who is doing that, that child is not a normal individual like yours. That is the reason why the public in Trinidad and Tobago has to be aware. An advertisement, you know, things like that. Why it is that, you know, when you're driving on the highway, Trinidad and Tobago, you've seen 25 billboard with 25 women wearing bikinis, short clothes, and doing this. Why can't we see maybe an autistic child being assisted by a medical practitioner or a medical aid helper or something like that? Why can't we see that? Why it is that when you see a man advertising an engine oil, a motor vehicle oil, and in front of the vehicle, there's a woman who is half naked? Why is that so? Is that what sells in our country? Is that what sells around the world? And the answer is yes, that is what sells. But we have to change the temperament. We have to, you know, we have to educate the citizens of our country. We have to ask people to really and truly go in these places where these kids are and spend some time and understand how it is. You see, a lot of us today, friends, Trinidad and Tobago, we live a really and truly loving life in the sense that we benefit from a lot of things. But there are people outside there who are living in a very secluded manner. They are not able to do what you are doing. You could change vehicles every 5 years or every 3 years. You can renovate your house. Like I tell you something, I saw this with my own 2 eyes. I don't want to call the area. And because I'm sure that many of you have seen that. One beautiful mansion was knocked down. In central Trinidad, was knocked down. The value of that property is about $3 million. I am in the construction, so I could tell you about $3 million. That was knocked down. An excavator came, break down everything, cut it away, and they just use the land as a foundation again, and they rebuild something value about $20 million. I mean, they have money. But you tell me, my friend, there are people outside there, there are children. One woman was telling me that she is a teacher, and she have another child who have to take care of, and she's a single mom. Her husband died of cancer. And the cost just to wear pull-ups, Pampers pull-ups, is around $400-500 per month. That is the kind of situation that people are going through outside there. And you and I, sometimes we complain about the price of chicken. We complain about the price of bread. We complain about the price of this. And these mothers outside there have to worry about how we're going to wash the Pampers and give back the child to wear the same Pampers. You're going to break down a $3 million home to build a $10 million home, and you don't even think about, what is taking place in your own society, in your own community, my friends. You have to understand this. We are living in a real world, right? We are living in a world where it is public. Everything is public. You cook something, it's public. You advertise in it. You cook something, you make something, you put it on Facebook. You go on a holiday, you put it on Facebook. Everything on Facebook is a public domain. Your life has become public. Everything that you do is a puppy show. My friends, I want to let you all know, while you are making a puppy show out of your life, there are people outside there who are really, really, really suffering. And I don't expect you to save the world. I don't expect you to save the whole entire world. What I would expect individuals to do, like what we are doing in my community, what I am doing with a group of people, we are trying to identify some of the people who really and truly don't have anybody. I know of an individual who got sick day before yesterday. That individual got sick, right? And she has nobody. It's a good thing. One of a good citizen, you want to call it that, called the ambulance and took her to the hospital. That is the condition. There are people outside there who are living under the poverty means, but they're not coming outside there and begging. They're not coming outside there and crying. They're taking the pressure and they're depending on God Almighty solely and solely. So for that lady who spoke to me about the autism, I would have expected that she called me by now, or maybe even so much so, if she don't have internet or she don't have a proper phone to call me at this point. I told her, I want you to call. I want the public to hear your plight. I want people to understand what it is to have an autistic baby, a child. The child is, I think, is 4 or 5 years old. When I heard about that, I really and truly was saddened. And I said, today in our program, I am going to talk about, and the only people who really and truly join or are part of or is a part of is people who are affiliated, who are autistic. But other than that, we go about our normal life. So the next time, as I take my second break, I want to remind you, the next time you go somewhere, whether it be the beach, whether it be a mall, whether it be a function, whether it be in school, traversing the pathways, and you see somebody, misbehaving, as you would call it, don't jump to conclusion and say, well, the parents, they can't train their own children. They can't train their own children. Imagine this, the child pulling this and the child doing this. Like one day I saw this and I got to realize that child was autistic. After talking to the lady and listening to the conversation that person was telling me, I was, I think, in a bank. And we were sitting there. You know when you go in bank in Trinidad and Tobago, it ain't like expediting unless you know somebody who could pull you in the back door and give you the fast lane. But I tell you something, we sat there and we wait, and one child was beating the mother, hitting the mother, right? Hitting the mother. And you know something, is only when I had that conversation with the lady, then I realized that child could be autistic. And that was the way that child knew how to draw the attention of the mother. Because the mother wasn't really and truly angry, but the mother was just pushing and holding the baby hand, the child hand. So outside there, Trinidad and Tobago, whenever you see such, don't jump into conclusion. Try to mediate, try to be helpful, in other words. Try to be helpful, and I tell you something, that could go a long way, right, in assisting the mother. Because I tell you something, the lady was so frustrated in the bank and also ashamed because she knew that these people who were watching would think that she is an unfit mother. So I want to just raise the alarm bell. I want to raise the alarm bell today on autism and ask you all, those of you who are locked on, feel free to share our video. Let people know that Hardfacts is your program. It is a program that is designed to deal with issues and topics that will bring relief and assistance to the citizenry of our country. Let's take our break, and then we come back with our final part of our program. We'll conclude our show. Welcome back to our program, my friends. Those of you who are locked on. We are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and Saturdays, sorry, where we identify with the challenges that is taking place in our country. We have a caller there. Go ahead, caller.
Okay.
Caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my dear.
Yes. So my grand is autistic, and I can feel the struggle that my with him. I can also say that I have a place for special children.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my point.
Tell me something, caller. Caller, are you hearing me? Caller,
Hello?
are you hearing me now?
Yes, I'm here.
You want to call this number 3722129? You will go direct with the studio lines. 3722129.
37.
3722129.
Okay.
Call that number and you will hear clearer.
Okay.
So again, those of you who are locked on, my friends, we are talking about people who are autistic. We are talking about people who need help. And again, my friends, a lot of people outside here, they are suffering silently. And I tell you something, we are going to designate maybe every month, we're going to talk about some issue that is really and truly hurting the citizens of our country. And that would have been a topic that people would really and truly, I know for a fact, they will gravitate to. We have the call on the line? Right, so again, we are talking about how we can help the people or children who are challenged. Right, we are talking about that in our program here today. And those of you who would like to call us, call the number 3722129, identify, and maybe you can make your plight be heard, asking the government of the day to do something better. Director, pull up those shots when we're talking about ADD, the autistic disorders. Let me just read out there. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Ministry of Health, through its Teen Care TT website, provide resources and information about autism spectrum disorder, ASD. The Autistic Society of Trinidad and Tobago, that is ASTT, is also a key organization offering support and advocacy for individuals with autism, their families, and their families. Additionally, the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services offer financial assistance and other support programs for individuals with disabilities, including those on the autism spectrum. Right? So that is what the government of the day is doing. While types of autism is an older way of describing the condition, it is helpful to understand how autism was previously categorized and how it is now understood. And that's what we were talking about here in our program. You know, there are different levels of autism. And those of you who are my friends, maybe you have kids who have been diagnosed with autism, really and truly, you can call. There's numbers that you can call via the Ministry of Social Programs and so forth, and you can be able to get some assistance. Thank you for that, Director. Thank you very much for that. So the caller who was, I'm sure you're watching the show, the number is on the screen, 3722129. And you know something? I want to go back to that lady who told me about the situation that she is going through right now. Right? She has a kind of teenage child, and she has this autistic child. And her husband died about 2 years ago via cancer. She's a teacher, and just imagine, she's a teacher. From that salary, she has to pay a caregiver for the duration of time that she's not home. And you know what was really and truly alarming to me? When she said, Imam, sometimes, you know, I feel drowsy. Sometimes my eyes close while I am driving to come home. That is because when she goes home, my friends, when she goes home, she has to be another caregiver for her child. And her child is not one who will go home and 8 o'clock, like some children will go to bed 8 o'clock or 7:30 and they will wake up in the morning 4:30. No. when I realized what she was telling me, sometimes the whole night would pass and he would be jumping and running and playing and breaking and pulling down. Hey, that is really, really, really a test. You have to have a certain metal, a certain fabric to really and truly understand that type of challenge that people are plagued with and faced with on a daily basis. And that is not 1 day or 2 days. As long as that child is around and as long as you is around and you are the mother of that child, you have the responsibility. You would never be free. Think about it. That's a sentence that you have, my friends. So a lot of people outside there, sometimes you jump to conclusion. That's the reason why I say when you see on Facebook, you would write, you will text this in the bottom there. People don't get killed just so. People don't get killed just so. So what you are insinuating is that the individual maybe look for that. What you are saying is that the child who born autistic, he look or she look for that. Or the mother or the father is on drugs. Or you find some lame excuses to really and truly defend your weakness and your mental failure when it comes to adopting and analyzing and really and truly acknowledging that you are not assisting in no way at all. All you are doing, like citizens of our country, when you remain silent, and you see crime prevailing in your community because you have burglar proof, because you have remote control gate, because you have licensed firearm, because you have son-in-law and sons and daughters who are police officers, you feel that you are safe and protected and you don't care about nobody else. Think about what I'm saying. Some of you are like that. Some of you are like that. You can buy any and everything, but there are people outside there today, my friends, who are suffering from basic amenities. And you and I collectively, as a society, we can be more considerate and we can be more assisting those people who need our assistance. Very, very important. So those of you who are locked on, my friends, today's program really and truly was a program that I want to initiate. I want to start it, and I would like those of you who have any situation that you would like us to discuss on Hardfacts, call me. Let me know a day in front so that we can do some research on it and give us information like what we have gotten pertaining to autism and that child. And there are many, many children like that. A caller tried to call us a while ago, and if I got it right there, she was saying that the person had 6 children, director, or 5 children, and one of those children. So imagine a mother have 5 kids, and one of that child is autistic. You telling me that one child who is autistic, that child will take the attention of the other 5 children, right? So sometimes you see people going outside there and maybe they're committing crime and so forth because it was overbearing for the individual parent. A lot of people outside there, when their children are born like that, the majority of the time the weaker ones would run and leave that stronger parent to man the whole burden of a child who is autistic. And that is the reason why I would like those persons who are going through that very sad thing. Like when your child born with autism, right? When your child was diagnosed with being an autistic child, and the other part, but your spouses and the other part of the family, they saw that and they ran away. I'm sure it had people like that. I'm sure. And that is what really and truly people want to understand. They want to know. And if you remain silent, they're not going to understand that. They're not going to understand that situation, because I am telling you, Trinidad and Tobago, I have seen and I know. And we are trying in our own humble way to try to see how best we can assist children who are autistic children. If you could help them with Pampers, that's an important thing. Hygiene things like soap and disinfectant and so forth for the home, those are important things. Things like gloves, surgical gloves and all these things, those are important amenities. Not only food stuff, get them 2 canopies, get them a $200 hamper. No, think again. How you would like to be treated, treat others, right? This is what I want to say. The mother toll is around 210 individuals. That's an alarming number. That's a high figure for mortality in our country at this point in time. So again, as we close off our program here, I'm calling on the minister in the Ministry of Homeland Security to mobilize, initiate, be more aggressive, let Trinidad and Tobago feel safe again. And that is in your hand. That is not in the Prime Minister's hands alone. That is in the hands of all on board. Me. I am so acquainted with that also. Many of you outside here who have the knowledge when it comes to crime and security and all those things, all hands on deck. And that is what we are saying here today on our program. We ask you all to stay tuned. We are going to really and truly take our final break, and when we come back, we're going to close off our program here today on Sentinel Media Broadcasting. Okay, my friends, those of you who are locked on, this is our final leg of our program, Hardfacts. I am your host, Imam Rashid Karim, and we are here, we are here Mondays, myself and the staff. We are here from Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon, where we identify things that is happening in our society that we can really and truly, there are things that we can control, and there are things that we have no control of. All we are talking about is the thing that we can control. What you can control, make some sort of arrangement to assist when it comes to helping people who are in need. Very, very important. If you are seeing crime being perpetrated by criminal elements in our society, hey, shoot a call, let the police know, let the security service know, let there are anonymous places that you can call and send your information. Ensure that you are not spiting anyone, because I tell you something, that's only, you are doing more harm than good. Right? So again, those persons who are locked onto our program and watching our show, we would like to thank you all very, very much. And we'd like to thank the Honorable Minister Barry Padarat, who is in the Ministry of Public Utilities, for the wonderful job he is doing. And I've been watching him, I've been looking on, and really and truly there's a lot of changes that is taking place, and we do hope and pray that it will continue in that very manner, in that very said trend. And we do hope and pray that those persons who are negative oriented, because I tell you something, you were saying this jump defense, you remember that? You were saying jump defense, and you were saying to finish them, and you were threatening, and you were doing this. Now you have to pay. Now you have to pay, find the monies to pay. And you know something? You didn't come outside there and say, well, I'm sorry for what I did, or I'm sorry for what I said. No, you continue making the very said threats again and again, right? So again, those of you who are locked on, you know who I'm talking about. I don't want to go down into details, but I tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago is not a real place when you look at the situations that is prevailing right now. Because everybody outside there wants to live a life. They want to live a life, a really and truly pleasant life. They want to live a life of happiness and they want to, be successful, in other words. But you know what? The direction they're taking is leading them away from what they are really and truly contemplating. So again, those of you who are locked on, I want to thank you all very, very much. And thank those persons who have really and truly given us information pertaining to our program here today. Imam Rashid Karim signing off until Monday. We thank you all, and we ask God Almighty to bless our country, our citizens, our leaders, and we ask God Almighty to protect our families. I thank you.
You